The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not supposed to look like this. Coming into the season, most people had them penciled in as a team stuck in transition, maybe scrappy, but certainly not dangerous. Yet 3 weeks in, they're undefeated, and not by accident. Every game feels like another twist in a story that nobody thought would be written this way. New names step up, the playbook keeps unfolding in unexpected ways, and Tampa keeps coming out on top. Suddenly, this isn't just about surviving a season. It's about rewriting expectations. And the craziest part? It all starts with an offense that wasn't supposed to scare anyone. The spotlight has swung to a group that feels fresh, unpredictable, and most importantly, together. Rookie wideout Emeka Egbuka is already playing like a polished pro, cutting up defenses with the poise of a veteran. Sterling Shepard looks rejuvenated, almost as if time rolled back a few years. And Baker Mayfield, the quarterback once labeled a stopgap, has finally found steady ground in Tampa. What's shocking isn't just the production, it's the rhythm. This offense isn't leaning on one hero, it's a collective force. Everyone is pulling in the same direction, which is why Tampa has been able to control games even when chaos strikes. But the question hanging in the air is heavy. How long can this machine keep humming when the injuries start stacking up? Because here's the reality. Mike Evans, the heartbeat of this receiving corps for nearly a decade, is already sidelined. His absence isn't just a missing piece. It's a test of everything Tampa has built in these first 3 games. Can this offense still spread the field without its longest-standing weapon? Can the chemistry hold under pressure? The answers will define whether the Bucs' hot start is just a spark, or the fire that carries them into winter. If you watch closely, Tampa's offense doesn't look like the static playbook of last year. It's alive, it's moving, and it's forcing defenses into tough decisions. Emeka Egbuka commands the top corner every snap, drawing brackets and safeties shading his way. Defenses think they're closing the window, but Tampa responds with pre-snap motion, stacked releases, and timing routes designed to grab just enough daylight before contact. The goal isn't just big plays, it's about rhythm. Keep the chains moving, keep the defense tired, and in the fourth quarter, lean on legs that don't quit. Every role has its purpose. Egbuka is the playmaker who turns the toughest matchup into his proving ground. Shepard thrives in the gray areas, finding soft spots in zone and becoming Baker's safety valve on third down. Ryan Miller gives them an outside speed threat, while Tez Johnson stretches defenses horizontally, forcing pursuit angles that defenders hate chasing. The tight ends are sneaky but essential. Cade Otton chips, delays, and then slips into seams, while Payne Durham has become the red zone specialist, boxing out defenders like a power forward. And then there's Rachaad White. His stat lines don't always jump off the page, but his protection work does. Grading at nearly an 80 in pass blocking, White has been the firewall that buys Baker an extra heartbeat to find his man. With O'Keefe's injury altering the heavy sets, Tampa has leaned on variety, quicker snaps, shifting looks, and forcing defenders to play catch-up. This isn't an offense with one trick. It's a puzzle that keeps rearranging itself. And solving it? That's been the impossible task for every defense so far. But let's be real. All of this only matters if the quarterback makes it work. Baker Mayfield is holding the keys, and for the first time in a long time, he looks like a quarterback fully in control of his own story. Gone are the moments of panic where he forced hero throws into coverage. Instead, we're seeing poise, patience, and purpose. Watch the tape and the numbers match the eye test. An overall grade pushing 84, with over 80 in the passing game, tells you the efficiency isn't just a fluke. He's diagnosing blitzes, shifting protections with authority, and delivering the ball in rhythm. First window, he'll take it. No room. He resets his feet, waits half a beat, and opens a second option. And when the rush finally crashes through, he doesn't panic. He tucks it, slides, and lives for the next play. What makes this so compelling isn't the highlight reel throws, it's the control. Baker looks comfortable in the chaos. Every drive feels intentional, not improvised. And that's what separates a quarterback on a hot streak from one who has found his groove. The question now looms larger than ever. If this version of Baker Mayfield continues to run the offense with this level of precision, just how far can the Buccaneers ride it? The identity of Tampa Bay has flipped right before our eyes. What was supposed to be a stopgap season has suddenly become a showcase of adaptability and resilience. The rookies aren't just filling gaps, they're starring. The veterans aren't fading, they're reinventing. And the quarterback once written off as a placeholder is writing a brand new chapter. But here's the cliffhanger. An offense this sharp is only half the story. If Baker and the receivers keep stacking efficient drives, what happens when the defense joins the fight and starts turning games into their kind of brawl? That's where this story tilts from surprise start to something much bigger. Because if Tampa's defense keeps taking the ball away and Baker keeps protecting it, this team might not just be a September darling. They might be built to last. If the Buccaneers' offense has been the spark that set this season ablaze, then the defense has been the steady hand squeezing every inch of daylight out of opponents. Watch them for one series and you feel it. The tempo shifts. Quarterbacks hurry throws, running lanes collapse before they even form, and what looked like an open read vanishes in the blink of an eye. Tampa Bay doesn't just play defense, they shrink the field until you're fighting for air. The secret? Disguise and timing. Pre-snap, they flash one picture, a soft shell, a manageable front. Post-snap, it all transforms. Blitzes arrive from angles quarterbacks didn't prepare for, corners jump routes that looked free a heartbeat earlier, and safeties close in just as the pocket feels safe. It's less about brute force and more about forcing mistakes, like a vice tightening turn by turn. And when the results show up on the scoreboard, it's not just numbers. It's proof that Tampa's defense is setting the tone. Jamel Dean has become the face of that edge, snagging a pick six and carrying a coverage grade north of 92, which screams dominance. Antoine Winfield Jr. is everywhere at once, breaking up passes, crushing tackles in the flat, even blitzing with a 93 pass rush grade that tells you he's not confined to one role. Yaya Diaby brings the relentless energy, turning simple downs into long yardage nightmares. And the front? They've flat out erased the run. Opponents haven't cracked 100 yards on the ground in 11 straight games. A streak that forces teams into the kind of risky throws Tampa is built to devour. But here's the twist. Dominance only shines brighter under pressure, and one small detail can flip everything. The NFL is a league of inches, and Tampa has already lived that truth this season. Take the blocked field goal return against the Jets, a play that should have been wiped off the board. Will McDonald leaped the line, came down on guard Elijah Klein's foot, and by rule, that's contact that makes the play illegal. Yet the flag never flew. The touchdown stood. On replay, the evidence is obvious. Klein's left foot shifts, McDonald's right foot clips it, and the return lane opens. By the book, it should have been called back. Instead, the score stayed up and the game nearly flipped on that one moment. For fans, it's a reminder of how razor-thin the margins are. For the Bucs, it's a lesson in resilience. Even when the breaks go against them, they've found ways to steady themselves and finish the job. That kind of poise is more telling than any stat sheet. It's the mark of a team that refuses to crumble. And when you pair that mindset with a defense that thrives on taking time and space away, the equation changes. Suddenly, one bad whistle or one missed call doesn't define the outcome. The Buccaneers bend without breaking because their identity is rooted in persistence. Still, the road ahead is about to throw its hardest test yet. The beauty of this Buccaneers run is that it isn't just the stars carrying the load, it's the depth. Every week, a new name flashes. Greg Gaines and rookie Elijah Roberts have given the defensive front fresh energy, eating up snaps and keeping lanes clean. Jacob Parrish burst onto the radar with an 83 pass rush grade, a performance that fit right into Tampa's tempo. Even on special teams, Chase McLaughlin has rebounded with an 83 kicking grade, a bounce that might save close games down the line. These aren't household names, but that's exactly the point. Tampa isn't leaning on just a handful of stars. They're winning because everyone on the roster is pulling weight. That's the DNA of a contender. And if these role players keep finding ways to impact games, the Buccaneers will have answers when the spotlight gets brighter. The biggest X factor, though, might still be Baker Mayfield. Not for what he's already shown, but for what comes next. If he continues to protect the ball, command the offense, and make the defense's job easier by controlling tempo, Tampa becomes a team nobody wants to see in December. But the test that looms will reveal if that consistency holds under fire. And that fire, it wears green. The Philadelphia Eagles are walking into this matchup like the final boss of Tampa's early season run. They've got power in the trenches, speed at receiver, and a quarterback in Jalen Hurts who turns broken plays into daggers. This is the kind of game that strips away the hype and shows you what's real. History leans Tampa's way. They've taken 6 of the last 7 against Philly, and Todd Bowles' schemes have been Hurts' puzzle, leaving him just 1-4 versus the Bucs. Even Saquon Barkley has yet to punch in a rushing score against this defense, but don't let the history fool you. A.J. Brown is looming as the game breaker, and 1 quarter of dominance from him can flip momentum fast. The blueprint is simple: force Hurts into quick throws, control early downs, and keep mistakes off the table. Miss one of those keys, and the Eagles will make you pay. Nail them, and Tampa could be carving out another shockwave win. The Buccaneers were never supposed to be here, standing unbeaten with both their offense and defense dictating games. Yet here they are, stacked against injuries, bad breaks, and sky-high doubts, still standing tall. What makes this team dangerous isn't just the stars or the stats. It's the collective belief, the next man-up mentality, and the calm finishes when everything is on the line. The Eagles will be the truest measuring stick yet. If Tampa holds its ground, this stops being a Cinderella story and becomes something much bigger. A genuine contender taking shape in real time. And that's why this Sunday doesn't just feel like another game. It feels like a chapter that could reshape the entire NFC. So I'll leave it with you. Who is your X Factor? Do you trust Baker to keep the offense steady? Which defender should get the first crack at Hurts? Drop your predictions in the comments and let's see who nails the final score. One thing is certain, the Buccaneers have already flipped the script. The question now is, how far can they take it?